JD's and Lennon with the general purpose rifle optic in the 2 to 10 power magnification. Let's talk about it. Now, if you're anything like me, picking an optic for your new rifle build can often be, well, kind of a pain in the ass. There's LPVOs, like 1 to 8s. There's mid-range optics, like 3 to 18s. There's all kind of zoom optics, like the 5 to 25s. But which do I pick? What should I buy? Well, to answer that question, you have to decide, how do you plan on employing the gun? Is it a bench gun that's never going to leave the table? Get all the zooms, man. Is it a CQB gun that's going to be used exclusively within 50 meters? Red dot, for sure. But what about the gun that does it all? What about the gun you decided that you want to shoot a 3-gun match with? Plinking poppers, 50 to 100 yards, but you also need to put good, accurate hits on targets at, say, 600 meters. Well, that's what we call a general purpose rifle and a general purpose optic. And boys, we may have found a really good solution for that. So this is the Element Optics 2 to 10 power magnification. It's a really good match for that general purpose rifle. Now, why is that such a good match? Well, we have to think about what a general purpose rifle does. Now, I do a very wide variety of shooting. Very wild variety. Sometimes I'm magged up and into trash into these targets. Next day, I'm shooting good groups for 800 yards. I need something that is going to fulfill that role. If I'm picking up my rifle and I'm taking it to the range, 9 times out of 10, I am going to be shooting 50 to say 600 yards. That's just going to be a very practical use for a rifle, and that's very realistic. That's a very practical and useful skill to master with your rifle. Being able to run and gun, but also get those good solid A-zone hits beyond 100 yards. I want it to be able to excel at just that. But a gun is only as good as the shooter and the optic that he pairs with that rifle. That's where the 2 to 10 comes in. While you don't have 35 times zooms to see a gnat on a fly's ass at 1,000 yards, it's not stopping you from getting those hits at 1,000 yards. And while it's not an aim point T2 at CQB door kicking, it's got magnification, and it allows you to PID threats well beyond what a red dot can do. 400, 500, 600 meters. So unlike that T2, it's got a good solid magnification. So the Element Theos 2 to 10, let's talk about this optic in particular. The 2 to 10, it's not anything new, but I will say this, it is rapidly becoming like a staple in the tactical general purpose rifle kind of community. Why is that? Well, for starters, optics showcase the real capability of a rifle and allow it to excel at said purpose. A 2 to 10 is kind of like an LPVO, except it doesn't suffer at those higher end magnifications and the low end magnification. A lot of LPVOs do a pretty meh job at low end and high end magnification. Not all, but a lot of them do. What's nice about this Element 2 to 10 is that it really excels at both ends of that magnification range. As you can see here, we're sweeping my pit. These ranges are roughly 10 to 30 yards. It's reminiscent of a nice solid LPVO. I can use it both eyes open like a red dot sight at base power magnification. This is super important to me. This is dynamic shooting. I'm moving and shooting almost every single time at this range, whether it's assaulting forwards towards that threat or shooting and scooting like it's a carbine match. It's very capable of that. But let's say you're talking a rifle match. Matches that the closest target is probably going to be around 200 to 300 yards, while your typical engagement is actually going to be closer to 5 to 600. This is where this optic really shines. The 2 to 10 power magnification is perfect here because in most cases, you don't need 800 times zooms to get hits on target within 1,000 yards. And especially when you're talking about a rifle match, where your stages are much more dynamic shooting than, say, going out to the range, kicking out the bipod legs, and sitting your rifle down on a super stable concrete shooting bench. To tell you the truth, the rifle matches that I shoot are gas gun matches. AR-15s, chambered in 5.56. Sometimes I'll run a 6.5 Creed if I feel like eating top ramen for the rest of the month. Rarely, though, even with the 6.5, do I utilize anything more much beyond 10 power magnification. The extra power magnification isn't helping me get better wind calls. It's not helping me make that better wind call, and it's certainly not helping me build a more stable shooting position. The optic is there to help me find that point of aim, ultimately me making the wrong point of aim and building a rainbow around the berm of the target. But hey, that's just a personal problem. The 2 to 10 is just making some big waves in this tactical general purpose rifle community. And this element right here is absolutely crushing exactly that role. The optic itself, it's a 34mm tube, which I do like. This is going to allow for 1, more glass, and 2, more turret adjustment, which everybody can appreciate. We have super bright, clear, and crispy glass. Surprisingly clear and crisp glass. Element, they're not a new kid on the block necessarily. It's actually been around for quite a few years, and yet, oddly enough, it's dominated the super high-end air gun market. Realizing that market is kind of a niche, an AR-15 market is absurdly larger. They've been making some high-quality glass, and now they're transferring all of that information and technology over into long-range rifle stuff. So they know what they're doing, and they're kind of crushing it. But when I first got this thing, I was pretty worried. Not gonna lie, I was like, oh no, is this gonna be a FUD? It's a big risk, it's a big gamble to take. But God, it's very impressive. Light transmission is just super dynamite. I don't know what kind of coatings they have on this thing. It's not like they tell me anyways, but it's great. The big thing that I always hate is when you crank these things up to max magnification. You don't get that super dark, like tunnel effect. That bluish green just kind of distorts. It's really crisp. And also the reticle, it's super solid. I don't know about you guys, but I struggle with some of these super tactical Christmas trees of today. Maybe it's a little bit of boomer in me, I'm not too sure, but some of these reticles, they're just too busy, and they overload my brain when I'm on a stage trying to miss my target in peace and not understanding the course of fire. The Theos, it's very cut and dry. It's super simple, the perfect amount of info. You have 8 mils of elevation holds, which is going to get my 16-inch SR25 out to 870 yards without having to dial, and it's also going to get this EWS 18-inch 5.56 gun out to 800 yards without having to dial. That's the sweet spot for most of these gas gun rifle matches that are going to be 400 to 800 yards for about 90% of the engagements. You have 2 mil of wind hold as well, so that's going to suffice unless you're out there battling Hurricane Katrina or shooting extremely long range, in which case you can just dial if you need to. The center dot illuminates and it's super bright. I think you desert guys are going to enjoy that. It's more than adequate for 99% of the rest of the country as well. Let's talk about the turrets. They're super clean, super simply stated and printed on there. And you have a really easy toolless reset for 0. So shoot, find your 0, adjust it to that. You unscrew the top cap here, remove the turret and lift it up, set it to 0 and set it back down, and then screw on your top cap. No tools, no flathead screwdrivers, no need for Allen keys. It's very simple, and windage works the same as well. Magnification throw, super smooth, buttery smooth. It's not too hard, but it's not too easy to where you're going to like bump it and worry about like picking up your gun and shooting. Like, why am I on 6 power magnification? I thought I was at 10. We also have a huge quality of life improvement over most of your LPVOs. We have a parallax adjustment. What is parallax adjustment? Essentially, you can dial in the sight picture to your target. Instead of it being super fuzzy, you can get it nice and crisp. That's the simplest way to put it. Size-wise, really do not enjoy having a massive spotting scope on my gun, especially when we're talking about a 5.56 gun, where the whole key of this thing is super light, super nimble, very handy. This thing, it's not too small, that's going to sacrifice performance, but it's not too large to where it throws off the entire dynamic of handling your rifle completely off. Overall, the Element 2 to 10, it's just really solid. Like, if you have a mission that asks you for working at 500 to 600 yards on a very regular basis, something without a massive footprint that doesn't add 10 pounds to your rifle, but you need those hits beyond that 100 and 200, 300 yards, this is the one for you. The extra bell on the end, the extra magnification, crisp glass, it's just, it's an optic for a very serious end user. So, JDs and Letterman, we have a wrap here on the Element 2 to 10 general purpose rifle optic. It gets a solid thumbs up from me. So with that being said, guys, run your gun, not your mouth. We'll catch you next time.